Hurry so we can get the independent cab company in the shot.
Oh, that absolutely.
They're air
There
conditioned.
it is. There. What's up, everybody? It's Karl, aka Karl Drum Tech. I'm here right now with my friend Michael Eagle. If you guys don't know him, he is the man, the mastermind behind Rhythm Monster. If you guys don't know what that is, go check that out. I'll have a link in the description below, so make sure you go there and check that out. But for right now, what's up, Mike?
How's it going, dude?
Good, man. So Mike is visiting from New York.
That's right.
And checking out the scenes here in Beverly Hills, West Hollywood area. What's your impression?
Man, LA is the bomb. This place is gorgeous. People are gorgeous. It's been a gorgeous time here in LA so far.
Behind here is the Pacific Design Center.
Yeah.
So we have a cool background.
That's where your offices are, right?
That is not where my office is, but you know, it's a cool building nonetheless. So yeah. All right. So what brings you here to Cali?
Well, I had a gig, you could say, at UCLA where I was talking about some education and a little bit of drum stuff. And then after that, I decided I'm on the West Coast for the first time in many years. Let's chill out, do a little bit of vacationing.
Nice.
So I do what I normally do is contact the guys that like to drum and say, hey, let's drum.
We're in the vicinity, right?
That's
so
right,
come out and have
exactly.
some lunch and hang out and bust out some video cameras in the middle of the street and just start talking.
Exactly.
That's what you do.
That is what you do.
That's right. So yeah, so Rhythm Monster. So I've been checking it out, and if you guys haven't seen it and checked it out, a lot of it is, you know, this world that I had no idea existed before. I mean, I did, but it's like not to the extent that you guys are putting it out there and you know, exposing it, which is Scottish pipe band drumming.
That's right.
So, you know, for those of us who are mostly marching percussionists who are watching this, you know, tell us a little bit about what that's about, what that world is, and, you know, how that relates to, you know, the greater percussive world.
Yeah. Man, so Scottish pipe band drumming really is this whole other world and culture of music and drumming. And I think most of us, I mean, we're kind of like you, right? You've seen pipe bands and parades.
Know of it, yeah.
Yeah, you know that it exists. There's kilts and hats and things like that. But it really is this enormous world where there's millions of participants that we really don't have the same exposure in the States that we do to American marching bands and orchestras and whatnot. Because I mean, I'm like you, right? Like I'm a corps guy. I marched Phantom Regiment. You know, went up through you know, university and got my master's degree in music and education, the normal Western path, right? So I'm with it. Played a lot of marimba, etc. But when I aged out of DCI, I thought it was ridiculous that there wasn't a place to do some serious drumming. And I was already, you know, I was into Latin stuff and rock stuff and funk stuff, some music production. I had my mitts in a lot of things because I just like to do stuff. And then I stumbled upon my local little pipe band who was nothing to get excited about.
What do you mean by local? Where's local at?
Right, so local for me at the time was in Northwest Arkansas, the booming metropolis of Fayetteville.
Sure.
That's right.
And they had a pipe drumming
They have a pipe band, they still do.
Who knew?
I know, and regardless of where you are, you probably have a local pipe band too. You just haven't found them yet. And that was the case for me, right? I kind of found them, they found me. They were not of the same musical caliber that I was at in college, but that it was okay. And I recognized that it was different and cool. So I went to one pipe band contest and saw another band that was really good. Then I went to the next one and they were even better. And then I went to my first, you know, workshop and saw some of the best players in the world, and then it was over. Right? When I saw it at the highest level, I said, man, I am doing that and see what this whole thing is all about. And here we are 15-ish years later, and it's a big part of my personal musicianship and artistry, and now it's something I get to share with the world because I really think that a lot of other drummers like me, like you, would want to do it if you really saw just how badass it was.
Sure.
So we're showing that badassery, the monsterness, to the world.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool because, especially like you said, I mean, you know, it's something that you can do after DCI, after you've aged out, and that's one of the biggest problems I have with the martial arts activity is like people have this mindset that once they age out, they're done.
Right.
Like all their skills, like
Right.
just go back to the normal corporate world and just go through that
That's right,
path.
that's right.
And then your skills just kind of deteriorate. You may pick up the pad once in a
Yeah.
while, but there's no other avenue, which is why I think it's cool. Like the BYOS stuff is cool.
Totally.
It's like you can just
Yeah.
pad it up and do some tricks and stuff like that. You don't have to do anything else.
Exactly.
Right. But here's another avenue where you can join a group, be in a line.
Yeah.
And as we were talking earlier, there's guys who are 60 years old who are bad ass.
Yo, it's true. I mean, some of the most beastly players in pipe band land are in their 40s, 50s, pushing the 60s. And I mean, they're still as vicious today as they were 20, 30 years ago, because you get to do that. You have the opportunity to keep your hands up. And, there is a certain point where running around on a field naked all summer, there's just other things in life that take priority. So in pipe bands, we trade that out. There's no drill. There's no marching at all. You literally just stand there and play. And I know that might seem boring if you're a younger player and seeking DCI, which you should all do because it's awesome. But after a while, for me anyway, the focus just remained on the music. Anything that wasn't about playing, I became less and less concerned with.
Sure.
And pipe bands embodies that to a really healthy degree. So yeah, you can totally do that into your 60s.
I mean, I don't know about you, but in my age, I don't want to run around the field like carrying, heavy ass drums, and
Right.
I'm happy with put my drum on a stand and let's go.
Totally,
So,
yeah. So yeah, man, these guys that are higher up in age and still just beautiful musicians and beautiful drummers are super inspiring. And I think that's one of the benefits, is just knowing there is a way to keep growing as a musician and growing as a drummer. That's not the only way that we were taught in the States.
Sure.
And like we were talking about earlier, I think that if Western guys, DCI guys, say, man, that pipe band stuff is hot, I want to do that big time, okay, cool, we can help you do that. Or if you just say, I'm a pretty serious drum set player, or I'm really committed to the American thing and I teach high school or college or whatever, there are things that you can learn just about rhythm and style and flow and technique in pipe bands that you will learn nowhere else.
Wow.
Because the way you have to play, the way your hands move, the way you hold the sticks, the way you have to understand your body, let alone the styles of the tunes, they don't exist anywhere else on the planet. And this has been the most intriguing thing, is the vocabulary seems limited. The songs, the tune type seems limited. But when you really dig in and see what's going on, you automatically find out, holy crap, there's so much you can do with this.
There's many different layers.
So many layers. And to have taken those influences and teach them to my normal high school lines or my normal college lines, percussion studios, has been a really eye-opening thing.
Right.
Like a quick one that I always talk about is, a lot of American drummers are really stiff. Right, and because we know that wrists are a big part of what we do.
Sure.
And I think a lot of kids get caught up in they can only play by moving their wrist and everything else is really jagged, right?
Or the arm movement is extremely demonized.
Exactly. Everything is very rigid and mechanical because there is this precision we have to have in American drumming. But in pipe band drumming, the very first thing you have to learn is this. You've got to get those fingers wiggling. Because rather than it being all about the wrist, it's all about the fingers. And over here, rather than it being about that awesome rotation, it's all about that thumb. So I've used that fundamental Scottish technique to help loosen up my American students.
Got it. Yeah.
And it's like same thing, since in pipe bands we play mostly buzz rolls. If you just aren't nailing that buzz roll quality that you want on your concert drum, learning how we play buzzes here is a huge help because it's just a different perspective.
And I think this talk here, kind of reminds me of, one of my biggest inspirations, which is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was a guy who believed in not a single style or not a single form. He took different kinds of martial arts and incorporate it into his own style to create, like, number one, a brand new style on itself. But at the same time, it's like, taking stuff that works best for him, that he likes, and creating something that's, that goes beyond just any one form or any one style. That's why I like to bring in people with different perspectives, different styles, and show that to you guys, that there's something more than what is out there, which is, DCI, marching percussion, which is all great. I'm not bashing it.
No, not at all.
But I think, there's something to learn from every style, every discipline, every different perspective.
Preach. and I think that, I mean, we've all been caught up in this. We've all been caught up so much in the task at hand or the contest, the season, whatever, that we have blinders put on without realizing.
Or we put ourselves in a box.
We put ourselves in a box. And I mean, but the unfortunate reality is at 22, 23 years old, you do not have the performing opportunities with contemporary American drumming that you did prior.
Sure.
And I mean, that is such a microscopic part of life, 22, 23. And to just know that there's something else out there that can take you all over the world, can keep your hands busy, and teach you new rudiments, new styles, new flow, new technique that you can't learn anywhere else. To me, I mean, sign me up.
Sure.
What else do I need to know? You know what I'm saying? And I think that I was fortunate enough to have people around me that exposed me to the right artists that really, just hit my heart the right way. And that's what we want to do for everyone. It's not about getting everyone into pipe bands. If you want to do that, we show you how. But if you're just looking for something different, if you're looking for different places to play, a different way to think about drumming, to think about your hands,
even if you get one technique out of the new discipline, and that will help you, it's worth it.
Absolutely,
to check it out.
Because it's fun to learn stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we should always be doing. We should always be learning. We should always be expanding. We should always be growing.
Word.
Speaking of which, so I have never drummed in the traditional Scottish style. So what do you have here now?
So what I have here is my trusty IP bag. And since I do a bunch of different styles, I have a bunch of different types of sticks. So I have here my my PR2s,
you guys know that, right?
My American choppies. I've got my Chris Lambs in here. I have some Swiss drumming sticks. We'll do that in the next video.
Okay.
But I also have a whole bunch of Scotty sticks or Scottish pipe band snare drum sticks. They're totally different. We're just gonna let you take them.
So it's still IP.
It's still IP, yeah.
But they are
Scottish pipe band snare drum
sticks.
Okay,
all right.
So it totally different implement, totally different feel and everything. Please.
I like it.
It's weird, right?
It's weird. It's the balance is not the same.
No. So try this, man. We all know the difference between if we're trying to warm up for drumline or warm up for the concert hall.
Sure.
Take it as a concert approach now and see what it feels like. If you start out by thinking of them as concert sticks, then you can kind of ease into what they really are. Because they're not concert sticks, they're not American marching sticks, but they're at least closer to that orchestral feel that we all know. Because if I try to play, I don't know, the latest Vanguard lick with my Christopher Lambs, it's not going to feel good.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing here. If we try to chop out like we do in American drumming with Scotty sticks, they're not going to feel the same.
There's definitely an adjustment, if you want to try that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So try doing the same thing. Try playing some fast A. It's like 1 E enda, 2 E enda, just with fingers. No wrist, all fingers. Cool. Now do the same thing without affecting the tempo with as little velocity as possible.
Whoa, fight.
Exciting. That guy likes velocity. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you think about less velocity, you just naturally use less wrist and more finger.
Right.
Then you start to feel the balance of the stick or where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I can go faster.
Yeah.
Than I would with a normal marching stick.
Exactly. Because again, I mean, for me, when I start guys on Scottish drumming, whether super experienced drummers or absolute beginners, we always start with the fingers. Because most human beings have enough power and dexterity in their wrist to be good Scottish snare drummers.
Okay.
Most people don't have access to back fingers, let alone access to that thumb, if you're doing the traditional grip thing.
Right.
But for experienced American drummers, it's always good to just say, let's just start with those back fingers and get a feel for the stick.
Yeah, it's almost like I have to put less, I don't have to put as much effort.
Absolutely.
And I can go longer.
Because it's a way lighter stick.
Yeah.
The taper's different, the balance is different, all that stuff. All right, cool. Now let's try like a standard exercise like a hug-a-dig-a-burr.
Okay.
But I want you to play hug-a-dig-a-burr with all 6-lets. So
Okay.
sig-a-da-dig-a-da-buzz, sig-a-da-dig-a-da-buzz, sig-a-da-dig-a-da-sig-a-da-dig-a-da-buzz, buzz. Check this out. Just you on your own, just to get a feel for the stick. That's cool, just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's almost like I have to learn.
I love the adjustments that you're making.
Yeah, there's
See, this is what's cool, right? Karl, since Karl's a drummer and he knows how to drum, he's starting with what he knows and going, that doesn't feel right.
Right.
And then making all the little necessary adjustments to ask, hey, stick, what are you wanting from me?
Right.
And that for you, since you know how to drum, that's all you need.
Sure.
Is just realize stick's telling you different stuff. Listen to this stick.
There's
it'll
different
tell you what
balance
to do.
point, and then
Yep.
maybe like if I put more effort, it kind of gets in my own way in some
Yep.
ways. So you have
Yep.
to kind of like let go, and yeah. So there's all kinds of experimentation going on.
It's cool, right? Now do the exact same thing and just make your buzzes buzzier. Just make them pressier into the pad. Yeah. Because we do play on Kevlar, right? Our pipe band snares are Kevlar heads.
Now, do you recommend the fulcrum being up here or here?
Man, that's a good question. So the big difference as far as taper, which affects the fulcrum on the pipe band sticks versus the American. Pipe band sticks taper, no matter whose it is a full taper.
Yeah,
Right?
I see
It's
that.
going,
Yeah,
the entire length of the stick is tapering. So it really depends on just how big your mitts are, right? I find anyway. So since I have a little bit smaller, chunkier hands, I'm a little bit higher than I think most drummers are. Guys, if you got really, really big hands, they tend to go back a little bit.
Okay.
Right?
So me, I got small, skinny hands.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of that normal spot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm using the our Reed Maxwell RM1s, which is one of the industry standards. I mean, I normally tell students to start by putting their thumb right on that word max, right on the USA, and that helps it out.
Okay.
And then again, just realizing those buzzes, since it's on Kevlar, you just got to dig for that quality a little bit more. Then other than that, you just do what you're doing, listen to the stick, it'll tell you what's up.
I think I like it when I choke up a little bit more.
Yeah. Cool. I love the adjustments you're making, man, because you know something's not right.
Right.
You know that adjustments need to be made, and you know that because you're an experienced player and you're used to listening to your implement.
Yeah.
Your stick tells you whether or not that's a happy sound, no matter what you're playing.
Right.
And I mean, you're processing all that rapidly as the music gets more dense.
Yeah.
But this is where it's got to start if you're not used to this tool. You got to go back to, well, what are you telling me, tool? What do I got to do to make you sound good and feel good?
Right.
And yes, of course, that's the first realization is it is different.
Yeah.
So even if you're killer drum set player, killer orchestral player, American player, whatever, you got to start by having the right tools. And then after that, you kind of got to go back to square one and just learn to listen to them differently. And that will help tell you what your technique is.
Right, and that's the first step.
Exactly. And of course, we walk through all of this, on our platform. We've got a Scottish pipe band snare drum tutor that takes you from, I don't know what music is, all the way to playing these standard scores. And we try to talk to you as if you're Karl, an experienced American player, or whether you're a young guy out there trying to figure the whole drum thing out, or whether you're a drum set player who can't read anything but knows how to rock.
Sure.
We try to speak to everyone individually because everyone's coming from different places. But it really does all begin with what is that stick telling you to do, and then how do you have to accommodate that to get the unique technique that we get in pipe bands.
Right. So how about a quick little impromptu little Scottish pipe band solo?
Ooh, okay.
And, I'll give you that platform and
Okay.
Yeah, show us some stuff.
I'll play. I have a couple pieces that I've written that I wrote for big drum lines. That's fusion drumming, but it's a little bit more Scotty influence. I'll see if I can come up with a chunk of one of those.
Okay. Nice, very cool, very cool, very
Yeah.
cool. And I just, I don't know if you guys can see it, but like my old instructor would tell me, like, that's very loosey-goosey,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what it is. It's
Yeah.
like, you're exploring different kind of angles.
Totally.
There's some molar in there. There's
yeah.
different kinds
Oh,
of
yeah.
whipping motions. It's all that.
Well,
roll into
and
one.
certainly, I mean, I've played that piece with like 8 other snare drummers, and I'll certainly be a little more defined in my physical language because I want us all to look and sound the same. But when I'm on my own, when I'm doing concerts, recitals, whatever, man, I'm gonna be me. And I know that what I want to do when I play is I want to feel friggin' loose. I don't want to feel restrained. And yeah, well, I know that on a Kevlar drum, that sound is different from that sound. Whether I'm playing singles, doubles, whatever. It's not as apparent on the pad, right? But certainly on the drum, that's a big thing for me. And I don't do a lot of that when I'm with a line because I want to make sure that we're executing perfectly. But when I'm just being me and I'm speaking the way that I want to speak, yeah, I'm a little bit more loose and fluid with stuff for sure.
Right.
And yeah, it's a tool, right? I know that I'm obsessed with organization and categorization like we all are. Like it's a very Western American thing. Where do things belong? So we all want to know what is molar, what is piston, what is the stone approach versus this, that, and the other. And for me, to be able to do this Scottish drumming thing at the highest level, you kind of got to have a little bit of all of it.
Sure.
You got to understand, like you were saying with the Bruce Lee concept, you have to know all these styles if you want to discover your style, right? And I mean, I think that if you're someone who really is discovering your drumming, your artistry, what makes you unique, there's no way you're going to be the same after you learn this.
Wow.
No way.
Okay.
You're going to be at a different level of awareness, let alone technical ability and all that other stuff.
Right. Do you think there's room for that kind of individuality, like within a Scottish pipe band group, or is there like you guys have a goal, just like in Western DCI style drumming, that everybody's kind of look the same, approach it the same way, same sound quality, or is there a little bit more wiggle room?
That's a really good question. Certainly, look, if I'm teaching a DCI group, we're going to be the best DCI group. We might take a little bit of influence, but we're a DCI group. And if I'm making a badass pipe band, we're going to be a badass pipe band with very few influences or leans in any other direction. Right. So but is there a little bit more wiggle room in pipe bands? Probably not, because even though it's wildly virtuosic and very competitive, it's very conservative, very traditional, right?
I see.
In its approach to the music, which is cool.
Yeah.
Right? Those traditions have lasted so long is awesome. However, when you're doing your own thing, like when you come play with me, or I'm playing with you here in LA, then it's kind of no holds barred, right?
Right.
Then we can take these American things we like, take these Scottish things we like, and do our own mix.
Yeah.
And for me as a high school instructor or college instructor, unless it's a group going to compete for finals at BOA, man, we're gonna do some Scottish stuff, some real deal Scottish stuff, and say, okay, kiddos, what do we like? What do we don't like? How can we use some of that over here in our high school contest or our college halftime show?
Right.
How can we take these influences? And I've always done that. I've always introduced the Scottish stuff or the Swiss stuff a little bit in its real deal form, so the students can tell me what they thought was really hip and how they can apply it to what they do.
Right.
And we're all looking for that, right? As teachers, as players, we're looking to learn new stuff so we can make our group more unique.
Right.
And man, I don't know anything more unique than this to really have something. Yeah.
The camera just died.
Oh, it's got the 30-minute.
Yeah, the 30-minute thing. Yeah, that's right. Do you just want to finish your thought?
What were we talking about? Drums?
Yeah, that's right.
Drums are good.
Drums are
Pipe
good.
band drums are good.
Bands are good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for doing this and being on this video.
Thank
if
you,
you guys
man.
want more information, absolutely. If you want more information, if you guys are interested in the Scottish pipe band drumming, just check it out and see if you can pick something up. That's all there. Like I said, in the description below. Go click that link and go explore and see what you can pick out of it that will be really helpful to you. So
that's right.
Thank you so much again.
And maybe we even have Karl Drum Tech on Rhythm Monster.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
make you one of our monster instructors.
We'll see.
That'd be awesome.
So cool. Guys, as always, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button if you have any questions or comments. If you have a question for Michael, leave that in the comments below as well. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now. And also share this video on all your social media platforms so that everybody can be exposed to other forms of disciplines and styles that are out there for percussion.
That's right.
So, There you
Share
go.
it. Make the world a better place.
That's right.
By sharing.
That's right. So cool. Thank you guys again. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.